build the operation, strictly build an operation to understanding that I'm here for a bigger cause. And one of the things that I've actually survived in life, which I think we'll touch on here in a minute, is understanding that I'm here for a greater purpose than just living for myself.
All right, welcome to the Knight's Path podcast. Today I have a friend of mine, Shashonee Sales. What's up, brother? Welcome.
Welcome. How are we doing today?
Doing good. So I'm in Texas, and Shashonee's basically in northern Texas, which is Oklahoma. And we say northern Texas because Oklahoma colleges steal all our Texas football players and make them great up there, So it is what it is. But hey, Shashonee, I know about you. I want the audience to know about you a little bit. Just, I know you're up there in Oklahoma. You're a country boy. People can tell pretty much by your accent once you start speaking a little bit. But where you grew up, how your life was growing up, what you're doing now. You're equipment runner. You're slinging hay and doing stuff for your folks around there, your neighbors around there, and whatnot. And then where do you want to go, brother? Let's go.
Yeah. So I was actually born in Fort Worth, but moved down here to Oklahoma when I was 9 years old. And I've been here ever since. I grew up on a farm and ranch, small farm and ranch here, cattle ranch. And I took that over back in 2015. And that's what I've been doing full time ever since. Back in 2020, I actually lost my job due to the pandemic. And that was kind of a pivotal moment for me. I knew that I had to, I'm going on 30 years old, and I had to invest in something that was going to be more secure and outside of the typical 9 to 5. And so that's really how I stumbled onto the digital marketing industry, and which is what I'm actually doing now outside of operating the ranch and my chemical application business, as well as my custom hay business. I knew that that was going to be a solid industry to go into. That's why I invested into it. So that's where I'm at today.
Sweet. So, okay. Well, and you say 9 to 5, but I mean, we have 27 head of pigs here at the house. And they're considered livestock, right? And you say 9 to 5, but I don't think most people realize when you're a farmer, it can be sun up to sun down. It's no bullshit, man.
Right. So, absolutely. 365 days a year. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So getting into digital marketing.
Yes.
So what do you want to do? And that's where I'm going, obviously, with my channel and stuff like that too. I'm trying to carve something out for myself being in the corporate gig. But what do you want to do as far as that's concerned? And by the way, anything that you got going on, share with me and we'll put in the description. And,
sure.
Absolutely, we'll see what we can't do for you. But I think I've heard that, and we'll get into it later, you've got a really powerful, inspirational story I think that you can share, but I think there's a little bug in you that wants to be maybe a motivational speaker, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And so I basically went into personal development back in first part of 2020. And prior to that, I've always invested in external things. And the last thing I did was invest in myself. Warren Buffett once said, the best investment a person can make is in themselves.
Yeah.
And so when I come across that quote, that pretty much changed. It struck a chord with me. And that's something I never did, was invest in myself. And when I did that, that changed everything for me personally. I went from trying to build the operation, strictly build an operation, to understanding that I'm here for a bigger cause. And one of the things that I've actually survived in life, which I think we'll touch on here in a minute, is understanding that I'm here for a greater purpose than just living for myself.
Yeah.
And so I feel as if I am called to take stages and share my message and story with the world, in hopes to, being able to serve others and instill hope in the world. We're living in a world now where it's hope is kind of diminished, if you will. And so that's something that I feel called to do. And through digital marketing and my coaching business is how I'm going to be able to help and better serve others.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that for sure. So, part of being a man and part of my path for the Knight's path is to be squared away physically, mentally, and spiritually. And I don't think you could be a whole and healthy man unless you are really squared away in those three areas. So let's talk about your physical, and
Sure.
then I'll probably blow your ego up a little bit because you and I shared a gym not too long ago in Colorado when we were at a seminar together, and I kind of kept this in the back of my mind, and I was like, I'm gonna kind of like throw this out there when you and I talk on the podcast, and it's pretty incredible from my point of view. It's pretty amazing. But so how many? What's your workout like? Are you trying to lift the house? Are you just trying to have functional fitness? Are you're just doing body weight workouts? Kind of what's your weekly routine? What are your goals? And in any nutrition, if you want to throw that on the back end, but what you got going on, Shashonee?
Yeah. So physically speaking, I go to the gym 6 days a week. I hit each muscle group twice per week.
Okay.
It's more of a strength regimen. It's kind of a gaining program is what I'm trying to do because I have an extremely high metabolism. And so I have to, and those workouts usually consist of about an hour usually, and high intensity training. And so, but yeah, that's it. With regards to nutrition, I'm on an all you can eat diet.
Yeah, because
I try to eat fairly healthy. I don't just go, I don't have a ton of sugar or anything like that in my diet. I do have a higher carb diet and higher protein just because it's harder for me I have to consume a lot of protein in order to gain muscle mass.
Yeah.
And so what my ultimate goal is. So, but yeah, with regards to, I'm not on a keto diet or anything like that. Unless an all you can eat diet. So
yeah. So my very first episode on the podcast was with a cop buddy of mine, Billy D, and we talked about working out. And, we were in our 20s when we met, and he alludes to the fact that he's like, yeah, you remember back then we could eat everything we wanted and we couldn't put on weight. We just had to really, I remember taking like 3,000 calories of protein shakes, sometimes twice a day just to try to get 5 pounds of muscle, and I was 22, 23, 24. Insane what I did back then. But yeah, you are lean and mean, when I met you. So yeah, I can see you got that good metabolism. That's awesome. So now as far as the physical is concerned, when you and I worked out and we were in the hotel gym at the Gaylord in Gaylord's Rockies out of Aurora, Colorado, and we were alternating between the pull-ups and dips. So Shashonee would be on dips, I'd be on pull-ups, and then we cross each other, and then we do those stations and come back. Now, there was a time in my life when most people do dips. For the audience, most people do dips this way, and they come like this. And there was a time in my life when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be like the rarest badass on the planet. I'm going to do dips this way, and I'm going to reverse my grip and come this way and do dips. And dude, you were doing that. You were doing that. And I remember when I wanted to do dips, I'm a dip phenom, and I've done weighted dips with 3 plates between my legs for 3 to 5 sets for my heavy set. That's 135 pounds dangling between my legs for 3 to 5 reps. I mean, I've done dips, and dips. I love dips. And I've always done them this way. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do them this way. And I'm going to be like the rarest human being on the planet that like builds up these inner, connective muscle tissues in my joint, because I'm doing this different tweak and angle, and who knows what muscles are going to pop out of my shoulders and stuff because I do it this way. Shit, man. I did it one time. I like tried to do a negative, and like gristle and sinew and ligaments in my collarbone were all trying to pop out of my friggin' shoulders. And I'm like, oh, I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that shit ever again. I almost hurt myself. And then Shashonee and I are going back and forth, and he's doing it this way, just seek. And I'm just like, holy shit, dude, you might be the only guy on the planet friggin' Earth that can do those kind of dips, dude. How did you come up with that?
I actually trained with a gentleman who was a kind of an old time. I guess when I was working out with him, he was in his 40s, and he was one that actually showed me that technique. He always taught me to focus on the negatives, because that's how you build your true strength, your core strength, and which is what I try to do. So, but that's where I picked that up from. His name is Godfrey Riles.
So
Awesome guy.
Do you do that instead of traditional dips, or you just kind of mix it up?
Yeah, I feel like turning your hands out, isolate some more. I know that traditional is like you were showing, like where you have your hands like this.
Uh-huh.
But I think that there's more of an isolation, and it just hits it at a different angle, and it's a little harder to do. So,
oh my God. So, yeah. I mean, we're probably like, if you think about everybody on the planet Earth, there's probably only a small percentage of the male population or female population, any population, any demographic that can do probably 25 dips. Just go up and do 25 dips. And then there's even a smaller population that can do 25 dips and do 10 to 12 pull-ups without stopping. So now you're starting to really corner yourself into this elite category of people in physical fitness. But then Shashonee, now I'm going to do it this way, and you and that guy, if you still can do them, are probably the only two people on the friggin' planet that can do that stuff. You could literally be in the Guinness Book of World Records for reverse grip, probably. I mean, like, if you want to do that, you want to have your name in the Guinness Book of World Records. Shashonee does 50 nonstop reverse, which most people's gristle and sinew and shit would pop out of their shoulders. So
yeah,
I was amazed, because Shashonee was doing dips like he had an assist going on. Shashonee's doing pull-ups like he's got like rubber bands and stuff, but he was kicking ass. But anyway, I was impressed, dude. All right, let's get into your mental, and then if you want to share that story, and yeah, let's get into that, because that is, dude, I don't know. When I do these podcasts, what's amazing is I learn something from each one of my guests, and I'm always inspired by what I learn and what I'm touched by, and I really, I got some information on this, and I'm like, I really want to deep dive, and I want to know Shashonee on this level, because I mean that's some tough stuff, bro, and that's mental fortitude, and it's never quit attitude, and then it's also faith, which we'll get into at the end, brother. So yeah, please share.
Yeah, so at 17 months of age, actually, let's take it back to when I was born. I was actually born with half the amount of blood in my body. Half the amount.
Oh, yes. Wow.
Due to the fact that my mother and I were both hemorrhaging, and I had to receive an immediate blood transfusion at birth. And so at 17 months of age, I was diagnosed with large cell lymphoma cancer. And I underwent 1.5 years of chemotherapy treatment. Nothing was working, but I was steadily getting worse and worse and worse. And the doctors had predicted that I was going to have to be set up on dialysis due to the fact that my kidneys would undoubtedly fail due to the harsh treatment, chemotherapy at such a young age. And it got so bad at one point, the doctor walked in and told my mother that, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but your baby boy has 48 hours to live. Mm-hmm. And my mother, a woman of strong faith, she she cried out and was asking God if, if she would just if he would just give her baby back to her, she would give me back to him.
Mm.
And I'll be going on 30 years old this year, and I'm cancer free, and I've been cancer free ever since. Thanks be to God's healing power. So,
Man, that's awesome. So, can you hear me still? Because you froze up on my. Okay, perfect. Yeah. My internet's in and out, so let me see if I can pick you up.
Of myself and that.
Hold up, Shashonee. You're freezing up on me, brother.
To be able to help and serve others.
Okay. Yeah, you froze up on my end a little bit, but yeah, I caught it at the end. So now, if I connect the dots from where you froze to now, you're going to use this opportunity to help protect and serve others, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sweet.
Yes.
So let's talk about your faith. Your mom's a woman of strong faith, and I had a cop buddy recently ask me, where am I with Jesus? I said he's one of my BFFs. We're in a great place, and he can be everybody's BFF if you let him, right? So
absolutely.
where are you at? I know you're a man of faith. So
absolutely. So I grew up. My mother had my sister and I in a private school, Christian school, growing up, and then we went to, like I said, when we moved to Oklahoma when I was 9. We just went to a small country public school, but I've always been had a relationship with Christ. And like I said, I give credit where credit is due, and he is the sole reason that I'm here today, cancer free, and I have been ever since. And I believe that I am here to instill hope and inspire and encourage others to manifest their gifts, their God-given gifts, talents, and abilities into this world, rather than chasing the traditional way of, the traditional workforce, if you will. I feel like we're all here to serve a purpose, and we are here to manifest that. So my biggest fear is not just death. My biggest fear is not death, but it's dying and meeting the man I should have become.
Right.
So, and I believe that, life is short, and it's too short to live miserably. And I think so many people are, because they're not living their purpose for being here on this planet. And I think if we tap into that, that will change everything for people. So, and that's what I encourage.
So that's kind of your approach to coaching, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so basically with my coaching program, I am basically taking single mothers who have been in abusive relationships, been divorced, but who want a better life for them and their children, who want the most for their children, but they don't have a way. They feel stuck. They feel like they're kind of at a wall in their life, but they don't really know how to go about providing the best life for their children. And I want to be able to help those women be able to create that sense of financial freedom, to be able to have that life and create the best opportunity for their children and for themselves. And the reason those are the women that I want to help is because that is my mother. That's my mother. She did that for my sister and I. She bent over backwards our whole entire life. She took the short end of the stick to make sure that my sister and I had the best, but she struggled financially. And I want to be able to help women build a digital business that's going to allow them a sense of financial freedom to be able to create the life that they desire to have for them and their children. So
that's awesome, dude. And I think that's my mom too. My mom was a single mom. My dad left when I was 1. They got a divorce. She raised my brother and I till we were 10, and then she married my stepdad. But I mean, yeah, she was working 2 jobs, and to your point, yeah, it's a lot of those women feel trapped and they got to just keep, I got to get an extra job. That's my solution. And you're saying, hey, you can stay at home, be present with your children, and start something online if that's going to be your quote unquote side hustle. And I hate that side hustle is kind of like, you know, when I hate that because you're just doing extra to try to further provide for your family, right? Side hustle to me, hustle's like some dude in a dark alley going, hey kid, come here, you wanna try this? You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no, and you're doing it from the perspective of, well, hey, what can this dude, farmer, hay guy in Oklahoma, what's his perspective? Dude, I was the kid that saw that woman, my mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
absolutely great point of reference. No, I think that's awesome. So there are some in like we're Shashonee and I in like our mastermind group, we're on a Voxer thread, and you've kind of got some Shashonee quotes. So I know you can quote some other people, you know, that are inspiring, but like you threw one quote out there, not to put you on the spot. Hopefully you got it memorized, but you threw some brilliant quote out there the other day, and it was like Shashonee. I was like, you're like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and then you threw some brilliance out there, you know, Tony Robbins, and Shashonee. I was like, whoa, dude, you're on your way. So do you come up with some really good inspiring stuff? Do you have one you can share with us?
One of original.
Yeah, that's Shashonee
Yeah.
quote.
Yeah. So one that I have is find your purpose. Find what it is you are called to do rather than what and or who you've conformed to. For if you find your purpose in life, only then will you be able to persevere in spite of life's inevitable circumstances.
Dude, that's good, bro. Drop the mic. So, man, this has been fantastic. I think that's a great place to end, brother. On your quote, on your time, on your dime, and I know you got stuff to do. And man, I appreciate you. Thanks for being on the Knight's Path podcast. I think you're lucky number 7, my friend.
Awesome. I'm honored.
Hey.
Matt, it's been a pleasure, sir. And
Thank you, brother.
It has.
Yeah, well, it's great to get to know you. I can't wait to see you grow. We're going to grow together. And, you know, if I have questions, I'll reach out. And certainly if there's anything you need from me, reach out. And we got a really badass community going on of mastermind and like thinkers and people that are trying to become the best versions of themselves. And what I love about us is we all want to help people in some way, in our niche, in our path. And that's beautiful. Shashonee, thank you, my friend. Have a great rest of the day. We'll catch up soon, brother.
Appreciate you. Take care.
All right. Bye.